Alright, I've got some explaining to do. I've been gone for far too long, and it's been a little bit since the last episode of our tier list progress. I won't go into details, but life happens. But we're back, we're hitting the next tier list episode, now let's get into it. And if you haven't seen my last few videos, go ahead and check those out. Essentially, just trying to clear my backlog, and we're going to rank the games as we clear them. The first game we're going to talk about today is Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2, to me, is going to land itself solidly in the A tier. And here's why. I think Dead Space 2 has great atmosphere. I think the environments are very fun and creative for the most part, if not linear. I do think the gameplay is very tight, which leads to some very tense moments in gameplay. Plus, who doesn't love dismembering necromorphs every chance they get? The only problem I really had with Dead Space 2 is the game can feel a little dated at times, and it's a little unfortunate that we haven't really gotten a remaster for it. The next game that I played after Dead Space was Dishonored. Dishonored is a game that I've wanted to play for a really long time, and every time I look at it, I'm like, oh man, that's great. But I suck at stuff. I'm really bad. And for that reason, I gave Dishonored a solid A tier. Good game. I think the gameplay is really good. One of the key factors being the melee combat. Melee combat just feels very smooth. I never once was like, man, I feel like melee ranges aren't accurately portrayed, or I felt like things weren't working the way I needed them to. And I think one of its biggest strengths is its kit versatility and the choice to play the way you want to. The fact that you could get multiple endings depending on how you play the game is pretty nice, and I unfortunately am bad, so I got the bad ending, but also because I'm bad at stealth. Big key word here, I'm bad. The other thing I didn't really like is there's no real distinction as to how to know if you're going to get the bad or good ending. I mean, most would say it's pretty obvious. If you killed a lot of people, you're going to get the bad ending. If you didn't, you'll get the good ending. But I just wish that they would kind of let you know where you're leaning so you can try and correct your choices. So the next game is a bit odd because I played it for years and it came out years ago, and I actually pre-ordered it when it came out, that being Battlefront 2. So when I was ranking Battlefront 2 and playing it again, the sole goal this time was to play the campaign, because I'd only ever spent time on multiplayer and everyone always talked about how bad the campaign was. So I wanted to take a chance for myself and see what was really wrong with it. To my surprise, not much. I think it was alright. I think it was pretty fine. I end up giving the game a B tier. One of the pros to this game is that it's very short, which means that you could probably blow through this in a day or two if you really devote your time to it like I did. I played this on stream for 4 hours at a time, and I think I beat it after 6-7 hours. It didn't take a whole lot, and I think I might have been playing on the hardest difficulty. I can't remember. I do think that the campaign excels in giving a little more world building post Return of the Jedi. In case you were wondering where this game takes place, it happens directly after the fall of the Empire at the end of episode 6. This campaign is very action-packed, and honestly, it didn't really have much downtime for me to really be like, man, this sucks, I hate this. It was just fun. I enjoyed it. Obviously, we can't talk about Battlefront 2 and not talk about multiplayer. It is by far the thing that draws people the most to Battlefront games in general. And if you don't like fighting other players, you could always just take a break, hop on with some friends, and play some co-op. Just absolutely roll some bots. But there were some things about the campaign that I didn't really care for. I do think that some missions just gave us too many enemies, and it can be a little overwhelming at times when you're having to sit there and hold out against waves upon waves of what seems like never-ending foes for like 15 minutes. And something I found really odd is that in the campaign, you can't dodge roll like you can in multiplayer. Don't know why they did that. Next game we're going to be adding to the tier list is RoboQuest. And you might be thinking, hey Egg, why the deep fried fuck are you going to be reviewing a game that you played a while ago? Because if any of you watch my streams would know, I've been playing RoboQuest since its official launch about 1.5 years ago. But that's because I think everybody should play this game. RoboQuest for me is right up there with Hades. It is a fantastic roguelike. RoboQuest is good on everything from art to music to gameplay to story. the fun loops, different characters, the fact that you have action words above your guns while you're shooting. Like, who thinks of that? I mean, just look at this gameplay. Not to mention, it is one of the few co-op roguelikes that exist, which is a massive plus for me because I love to play with my friends. And if you aren't sold so far on just what you see here, just think, it is Robot Doom. The music to the gameplay, it is very Doom-esque. And not to mention, they continuously keep updating this game. Since the last time I've really played, and since I wrote my brief summary and review on most of these games, they added an endless mode. And in endless, you can just keep clearing rooms, including bosses. But don't worry, because you might be thinking, oh, if you just keep fighting the same bosses, it won't be as fun. Duo bosses, baby. 2 of them bitches. I do have to say, the only downside to this game is that the developers baited me thinking they were adding 4-player co-op by announcing that they were dropping on PlayStation. I won't forgive you. Next up, we're going to talk about another roguelike. That's right, Risk of Rain 2. Unfortunately, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with Risk of Rain 2. I did play a good few hours with my buddy Talon, and for that reason, I'm going to give it an A tier. Again, it is a co-op roguelike with fun loops. It is a bit of a longer experience, so if you have a few hours to kill, Risk of Rain's perfect, because runs can go anywhere from like 30 minutes to, I think I had a run that was like 4 hours, because you can just keep looping. It is very fun, very addictive. Just takes a moment to get a grip on the item curve. I haven't really found anything I don't like yet, which is a good thing, because man, from the characters to the gameplay, it's just solid. The next game we're going to talk about is the absolute bane of my goddamn existence. And that's right, we're talking about Elden Ring. So Elden Ring is a bit of a mixed bag of emotions for me. There are things I really liked about playing Elden Ring, but for the most part, I really was not enjoying myself. And if you guys watch my streams, or even look at the stream I have up here on my YouTube channel, I didn't finish it. And that's because, to me, it just became more of a chore than having fun. And honestly, I feel bad doing it, but I had to put it in the I did not like it tier. Again, there were things I did like. I think the soundtrack was awesome. I really liked the immersive music. The visuals were honestly better than I thought they were going to be. And the game does have replayability if it is your type of game. I will say the biggest strength for it, in my opinion, and that is a common theme, is that it is a lot more fun when you are playing it with your friends. Co-op is not really a huge part of the game, but you can play it co-op. And I will likely be trying Elden Ring Night Rain because I did hear it is a co-op game. And now to talk about the things I really didn't like about Elden Ring, and I want this to be taken with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, I'm shit. Honestly, the game is unneedingly hard for me because I'm not a Souls player. I'm very bad at these type of games. I don't quite like that there is no direction that they give you, and I know that might be a Westerner problem playing video games, as I need to be told where to go, but some inclination as to where my objective is would be nice, other than just telling me the names of the people I have to kill and then setting me free. And the best way I could really sum up how I felt about the game to myself is it felt like purgatory, almost as if I was Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill just to fall right back down every time. And I think the last thing I really had a problem with was the fact that multiplayer, as much as fun as it was, it's not polished, but it is better than the previous Souls games that they've made. The next game I played is not going to come as a shocker. I am a massive Borderlands fan. It is one of my favorite games of all time. And of course, we played Wonderlands. So for me, Wonderlands easily landed itself in the S tier. I love Borderlands, I love Wonderlands, I love this universe. I also love the art style, and this game has a lot to love. If you've played Borderlands, Wonderlands is really more of what you've come to expect from the franchise. It does improve upon what we've gotten in the past, such as the Tiny Tina's DLC from Borderlands 2. I will say I was not expecting it, and I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did, but the character creator honestly was pretty fun to play around with, and I was able to make some pretty horrendous looking creations. And for you RPG fans out there, it does have multi-classing, so you can actually end up playing multiple classes in one run. The weapons are also some of the best they've been in the franchise thus far, at least in my opinion. And I think the writing and voice acting were both top-notch. The cast they got, from Andy Samberg to Wanda Sykes, it's just good. Not to mention Will Arnett as the villain. Come on. The only problems I had is I bought and pre-ordered this game on last-gen consoles. And I know that I wouldn't have this problem if I would just switch to PC, but as a console kid, it was unplayable on the last-gen consoles. Frame rates were way too low, crashes were happening, so I didn't play it. And that is why it took me so long to get to Wonderlands, and it pushed it back all the way till now. The last thing I didn't like was that melee weapons could be a little more impactful, and that ultimately you don't find yourself using them or having that much of an impact off of them. And the last game we're going to talk about is the last game that has been ruining my time alongside Elden Ring. For context, I played Elden Ring from, I'd say, late September, early October until about mid-November. Just basically Elden Ring non-stop. And the thing that finally made me give up on Elden Ring is I played a game I actually had a lot of fun with, being Marvel Rivals. Now, it's a little weird to rank just a multiplayer game, but I'm going to be giving it an A tier. Obviously, a lot of you have probably heard of, or seen, or watched, or played Marvel Rivals at this point. The game is just fantastic, though. From the expansive roster, that this season alone, we got 4 new characters, being Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. That's right, the Fantastic Four. And I'm so excited to see what characters they add in the future, because this roster is just awesome. Something that really helps the roster shine is the art style and character design. I love how well they did most of the characters for their animations, for their overall design, and even the expansive amount of lore that they added to this game when they didn't have to. And best of all, this game is truly free to play. No locking the characters behind paywalls, just the cosmetics. And they took the best feature from Dead by Daylight, being that the battle passes do not expire. So if you buy a battle pass, you have till the end of the game's lifeline to finish it. Now, some cons I do have is that sometimes the game can feel a little underbalanced, because to me, it feels like the approach of the developers is, if everything's broken, nothing's broken. And this is just a personal preference, but I think the lack of roll queue is really a detriment to the game, specifically in ranked queues. The amount of times I will lock in healer just for my team to lock in 4 DPS and a tank is crazy. Shouts out you to the tank players, shouts out healers, fuck you DPS players, learn some more characters. And there we have it. This is my tier list for the games that I have cleared off my backlog thus far. And I'm hoping that the next episode of this series doesn't take as long, but obviously with life and things that happen, things can take a minute. Not to mention, I'm still learning how to edit and still learning how to do a lot of things behind the scenes. So bear with me,